leadership race for Britain's Prime Minister heats up after Boris Johnson drops out of the contest. With this, Britain's former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak is now the front-runner in UK Prime Minister's race to replace Liz Truss as Prime Minister. Truss has resigned as Prime Minister. She quit in barely 45 days, becoming the shortest-serving Prime Minister of United Kingdom. And this came following a failed tax-cutting budget that rocked financial markets, and she wasn't able to revive the economy of the United Kingdom as promised. The former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, though, has now pulled out of the contest, saying that he had the support of enough lawmakers to progress to the next stage, but far fewer than front-runner former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak. Now, with this, the Tory party leadership contest is set between Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt. In fact, highly favoured to win, Rishi Sunak he has the public backing of at least 147 MPs so far, while ex-cabinet minister Penny Mordaunt, who was the first to announce himself as an official candidate, has only 24 MPs supporting her. Rishi Sunak will likely become UK's Prime Minister unless Penny reaches the threshold of 100 lawmakers. Let me quickly cut across to Jonathan Gilbert, joining us live from London. Jonathan, a quick word from you. Bright chances for Rishi Sunak as we see the other contenders not having enough support. And at this point, we see that Liz Truss had to back off after failed attempts on tax cuts and reviving the economy. Could we safely say that Rishi Sunak is likely to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom?
Well, I hate to contradict you, but I'd say that's absolutely not a safe bet at the moment. And the reason is down to the extraordinarily complex and somewhat dysfunctional voting process that the Conservative Party engages in. We've seen this already with Liz Truss, just as you say, 44, 45 days in office, less than 2 months ago. But we're about to see this again. This is what's going to happen in the next less than 10 hours or so. We know that Rishi Sunak already has more than enough MPs to push him over the threshold of this ballot. But Penny Mordaunt, who was until late last night very much the outside candidate, now faces a situation this morning where, if Boris Johnson is to be believed, there are 100 or so loose MPs now who would have backed Boris Johnson, who now have to decide who they wish to back. And they won't all automatically gravitate to Rishi Sunak. Although he is essentially the establishment candidate, he's also alienated a lot of MPs, principally because of his perceived role as the backstabber of Boris Johnson when Johnson was forced from office. So what we're going to find out over the next few hours, probably in less than 6 or 7 hours now, is whether Mordaunt gets enough MPs behind her to take her, as you say, over the threshold and into a party membership ballot. And if it goes to the party members, then that's a whole new ballgame. Because you may remember when it was Liz Truss versus Rishi Sunak, Sunak came a very poor second. And one has to ask oneself, you have to pose the question, could that possibly happen again? So Sunak definitely the front runner, but by no means over the line yet.